Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marte. I come from Norway and I love makeup, and today I'm so excited because I got the Paris palette, the Passion in Paris palette by BH Cosmetics in the mail. So I'm really excited. I will be showing you some swatches, and I also did this look right here where I tried out almost all of the purples, I think, and yeah, some of these amazing shimmers. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on this palette and seeing the swatches and how I did this look, then please keep on watching. So this is the first two rows, so the first half of the palette, and it's probably my favorite part together with the next row, which has some blues, but I'm very pleasantly surprised by these. So here I'm using my phone to show you sparkles and potential shifts of the shadows. So this first matte you can barely see because it's like the same color as my skin tone basically, just a little bit more peachy. Then we have this gorgeous iridescent shade. I'm not even sure if the camera picks up, but to me it has a little bit of multicolored sparkles. So it reminds me a little bit of an iridescent shade from Glam Shop, just that this is a little bit more delicate. It has a little bit more smaller particles. And then this one is more of a regular metallic, but it's a very cool shade, and it does have some really nice shine and some very like small sparkles, as you can see. So I think I could potentially use this. At first I was like, no, this is not for me, but you can see it's quite shiny. Then we have this one, which I used in my look. Just a gorgeous matte. This one is a little bit deeper than the first one, as you can see. I don't personally feel like you have to have both in a palette, but that's just me. Then these are two of my favorite mattes, the gorgeous lavender and the gorgeous deep teal, and probably like my favorite shade of the shimmers. It's this deep one with multicolored sparkles. So this one felt a little bit more wet than the other two right here, but yeah, this is just a gorgeous formula. You can see how gorgeous the shifts and sparkles are. So here are all the last shadows swatched out, and I'm really excited about that second shimmer that is here. This one, it's very sparkly. And yeah, I think it's kind of cool that they added some warm tones to this palette, because I think it will make it a lot more versatile. And yeah, I like reds. And you can see that this first one is a super strong duochrome, but it's kind of like a regular metallic, but it is quite shiny, as you can see. So I do really like this one as well. And then I just had to show off this other shimmer right here, because it's just so beautiful. It felt like the same formula as that other purplish deep shimmer, which I really like. So I hope that they will do more of those shades. It just feels like super great quality. And this one is not a black, but it's almost a black. It's a very, very deep gray. And this one's swatched out a little bit sheerer than I expected, but I do imagine that it will look deeper, and it will build up nicely when you add it on the eye on top of an eye primer, because you can see that the reds look very similar right here, but I do think they will look different when you use them. And the last shimmer there is a little bit underwhelming. This as well is not like something I feel too excited about, but I mean, I guess it's nice for those who don't like sparkles. But yeah, that is the two last rows, and let's just get into the look that I created using these. Now I think I'll just go into this one. I might dip into Montmartre afterwards, but it's quite deep, so I think I'll just try to work with this purple, and then I can blend it with that more lilac-y lavender shade. So I'll just be placing this one. I am still using the same brush, by the way, but I'm just placing this one right here. Seems to be blending beautifully into that more teal shade, and this one definitely is lighter, so I do like that. So if there's one thing I will say about this palette, it's like now that I want to blend out the teal and the purple, I'm like, what kind of blending shade should I use? Because the only like transition shades here are these, which, I mean, they work for my kind of skin tone and probably like medium and light, but these will both be probably too light for deeper skin tones, and personally I just prefer pastels instead, because then you can just like mix it together with, for example, these shades. So it would have been awesome with more of a pastel-y, either mint or purple or like a turquoise or something that would work with both the purples and the teals. But since there's not anything like that, I think I'll just go ahead and use the lightest one here, because that's the one that matches my skin tone the most, but I'm scared that it might take away a little bit of the color, so we will just have to wait and see. But before going in with that transition shade, I'm going to use this one, and I'm using my new Glam Shop brush in 0105. I'm so excited because I just ordered a bunch of the smaller detailed brushes from them. And I'll just be placing that purple in the middle right here. I'm so sorry if you can hear my washing machine in the background, but I just came home from my vacation, so obviously I have some clothes to wash. Now I'm just using a brush from Glam Shop called GB11, and then I'm taking that lightest shade as I told you guys, and I'll just use that to kind of matte down underneath my brow, because I think this is just like my skin tone, especially when it's a little bit sheared out. Okay, so I tried going in with like all the colors that I already used, and I'm just feeling that the more I'm like rubbing and blending, because I'm just using like circular motions to kind of like swipe it out, so I can get a nice blend, because these are quite deep and I want a nice blend. And I mean, I feel like I get a nice blend, especially when I'm like stretching my eye. But what I am noticing is that like my skin is looking very textured, because I feel like it has a sheen to it. I'm not sure if you can actually see that, but I definitely feel like there is a sheen to these matte shadows. So if you don't like that, then maybe these mattes aren't for you. But I do like the shadows. It's just that I'm more into like those like Glam Shop mattes that are completely matte, although those are very powdery, so I know a lot of people might not like that. And these are not powdery. I barely even get any kick up in the pan, so that's something to keep in mind too, that these are kind of easy to work with like that. You don't get a lot of mess, but I feel like they are textured a little bit more. but also you don't have to build them up too much, especially like in the outer corner right here. I often have to go back in, like you can still see that one, like I have this one wrinkle right here, and I often have to go back in, but I mean in real life it's not that visible actually. So I do like how these are performing, it's just I'm not that used to this sheen. I just added my BH Cosmetics Base Booster to the lid, as you might be able to see. And again, sorry they're doing construction work outside, but I'm going to take this one because it seems like it has some multicolored sparkles. And I'm going to use that in the inner and outer corner of the lid, and then I'm going to use this one, which seems to be like an iridescent shade with pink and blue and maybe purple. I think I'm going to start with this one just to avoid getting too much of the dark shadow. So I'll just be placing this one in the middle of the lid. So that one is applying really beautifully. Now I'm taking Versailles on a smaller, a little bit more denser shader brush, and I'm just placing it in the outer corner. This will also add to the depth, because this is maybe a little bit deeper than the teal matte that I used, but I really like to have it deep in the outer corner, especially when doing like a halo eye like this. Wow, this one is so beautiful, and I can definitely see those sparkles. And now that I have that placed down, I haven't like placed any shadow right in between them because I want to overlap this one, so I will have a nicer blend between the shimmers, just to make them go like more naturally together, which I feel like this white iridescent one should definitely make easy. So I think that's it for like the top part of the lid, and I might just do the exact same on the lower lash line, but maybe I should use some other colors. For the lower lash line, I decided I want to go in with Montmartre for like the outer corner right here to connect with the blue tealish color, and then I'll just blend it out with this, and I'll use the lightest purple. This seems like a purple to gold duochrome. I'll use that like for the middle part right here, or maybe for the outer part, and then I'll use the lightest one in the middle. We'll see, but I'm just going to try to use another one of my new brushes from Glam Shop. So this is the 0111 brush, and that's the one I will use with the deepest shade. And this is like a small, but like not the smallest kind of pencil brush, I feel like, but it's really nice for doing a little bit more of detailed work, because it is a little bit like sharp on in the middle there, which I really enjoy. Just trying to like slightly buff out the edges right here. And of course I have to use it for the inner parts here as well, and I really like the look when I make kind of like a sharp line here, and I don't want too much depth there just because I don't want to look too crazy. And then I'm going to take another one of my new brushes from Glam Shop. This will be the GB13. I'm just using that with the light purple, which I'll be placing in the middle, and also to blend out the blue or bluish purple shade. I'm also just using it right here in the outer corner to kind of like connect, and I really like how these are blending. Like typically I struggle so much in the outer part right here just because I have like a little bit of texture, some wrinkles, and it's like everything isn't just smooth, and this was just so easy, like wow. I'm really liking these shades, are so nice. Although they do have a slight sheen and make my my pores on the eyelid look a little bit more texture, but I do really like these. I did decide to use just a tiny bit of this one because it looks like a kind of like duochrome royal blue to purple shade, and I just really want to see how it looks. So I'll just use that for the outer parts and the inner parts, right where I used that deepest shade. And I did add my BH Cosmetics Base Booster there as well. These shimmers are really impressive. I feel like the others that I didn't use yet might be a little bit more like regular shimmers or metallics, but to have all of these really nicely like shiny, sparkly shimmers is already impressive. Now I'm just taking that iridescent shade, and I did use the base booster kind of like in a triangular shape here because I just really like that. So I might have to go in a little bit more once I have done my concealer, just because I really like this to be like a triangular shape downwards and go a little bit further down than you would typically go. But this is looking really nice this far. I will also use a white liner and add this shade for the inner corner, but I'm probably not going to film that. So I'll just go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup and I'll show you the close-up of this look, which I'm really loving this far. Like, what do you guys think? So there we have the finished look, and personally I really like this look. And like, I was a little bit skeptical to the mattes in the beginning because they were a little bit like, they had this little sheen to them, which I was not so much of a fan of, but I feel like the blending looks really beautiful right now. And yeah, it was just super easy to work with. So I feel like even though BH Cosmetics has a little bit of a cheaper formula, it's so easy to work with. And like teals like this and deep purples are usually quite hard to formulate and often go patchy, but I had no issues with that using this palette. So I'm actually really impressed. And like these shimmers, they're beautiful. Like, I would not have guessed that these were from BH Cosmetics if I had them as singles, for example. I would definitely be reaching for at least like these two and probably also the iridescent shade. And yeah, definitely the purple mattes if I had these as singles. So I do think this is a very wholesome palette. I'm really excited to be trying the reds because those look really beautiful actually. And I'm just really excited about this palette. I really enjoyed using it and I'm so excited that I picked it up, because usually I'm a little bit skeptical to picking up like cheaper palettes, but I mean, that's kind of lying because I only buy cheap stuff usually. But I have heard some different things about the BH Cosmetics formula, but this one was definitely worth it and really beautiful. For the rest of my makeup, I ended up using a new blush. I have the Velvet blush from LA Girl in the shade Snuggle, which I'm not sure how I feel about this. It kind of, I felt like it was lifting up the foundation a bit and I barely had foundation on. And then I just ended up topping it with this one. It's called Kremowa Brzoskwinia. It's in Polish. I will just have to leave that down below in my description box like I usually do, but that one kind of saved it a little bit. And I then used the UOMA, I'm not sure how to pronounce that either, but I bought their concealer in the shade Bronze Venus T2. I use this as a bronzer, but it's super warm, so I mean, for summer I guess it's fine, but I'm not sure if I will continue using this as a bronzer. I will just see if I have any friends I could give this away to, but I'm not sure about that because it's too light for my deep skin friends, and I think it will be a little bit too warm for my fair skin friends, so we will just see what I do about that. But I did love the consistency of this concealer, and I think it would be great if I actually bought it in like a normal concealer color and used it as a concealer instead, so I'm excited to have tried it at least. And then for my lips, I used some liner. I just got this one from Glam Shop. I don't really see the name, but it is from DIM, the collaboration with Glam Shop, and it's kind of like a pinky toned. And then I used their nude lipstick, or new to me lipstick in ROZI, Rossi, and I just really love this pink lipstick because I don't really have many of those, and this is like very light and kind of like a very neutral but bright pink, if that makes any sense. So I'm excited about that. And I didn't actually use any highlighter today. I kind of forgot, but I kind of don't need it because it's so warm and I'm going to sweat anyway. So I'm just happy with how this is already. But I think that's the products that I used. For the waterline, I used the Aurora Mascara eyeliner from Beautybay. I actually really like their liner. So if you are looking for some like cheaper pastel eyeliners, I do recommend the Beautybay ones. Not all of them. I think maybe the blue one is the one I don't like too much, but the minty one and the peachy one, it's called Stay Peachy, and the purple Aurora that I used today, I really like those, that's for sure. But I actually got a message that my Glam Shop multi-pastel package, like the PR package, just arrived, so I'm just going to go ahead and go get those. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!